Well, you found us. Hello, this is the Richard and Judy Book Club, and this is one of the loveliest books I think we've ever recommended that you read. It's called, depending on where you were born in Britain, either the Seamstress, if you're in the south like me, or the Seamstress, right? You say Seamstress up north, don't you?
I think it's a question of age, not geography, but still.
Well, moving swiftly on, I'm going to call it the Seamstress. And it's a fabulous saga. It's set in 1920s Spain to begin with, and it follows the fortunes of the seamstress, who's Sarah, who's a young girl, and she's born into this profession. Her mother's a seamstress, and as she grows up, she's taught how to profess her trade. And her life, it looks as if it's going to be pretty damn boring. She's got an incredibly boring fiancé. She's got a boring prospect ahead of her for the rest of her life, just doing sewing. And then two extraordinary things happen. First of all, she's seduced, and then the Spanish Civil War kicks off. And it's against that background that Maria Duenas has written her story. Lovely to see you. This is such a good read, and it's a real saga. It's a real epic. Did you set out to write such a big story with such huge themes, you know?
Well, hello. Well, that was my intention.
Yeah.
That was my intention. I knew that I wanted to write a long story full of action, full of things, full of passion, but I wasn't very sure how long it would take, how many different experiences it would cover. And I started writing, and that's the finish.
Well, I must say, I wish I was fluent in Spanish, because this is a brilliant read in English. It's beautifully translated.
It's a beautiful
very
translation,
faithful.
it is.
But I would love to have read it in Spanish, because the passion and the heat and the dust, you know, that comes off these pages. It's a very passionate book. I have to say, it has one of the most unusual seduction scenes I think I've ever read. Quite early on in the book, and that was where you had me, actually. That was when I realised that I was going to love this book, because you can pull off so many tricks. It takes place in a typewriter sale room, and Sarah goes with her incredibly boring fiancé to buy a typewriter, and he's what in English we call a nerd. He's just totally focused on the machinery, and he doesn't realise that Ramiro, who runs this place, this incredibly good-looking, handsome manager, is seducing his girlfriend right under his nose. It was an extraordinary place to write a seduction scene in a typewriter sale room. Did you deliberately choose it just to amuse yourself?
Yeah, well, I wanted to confront both men, the boring one and the
Gorgeous one.
the gorgeous one, together. And she's in between, Sarah's in between, and she doesn't really know what to do, because they are doing something as simple as buying a typewriter. But I wanted to confront them initially, so that all the readers could be seduced by Ramiro as well. And they tell me, as you say, that it's a powerful, erotic.
It's very erotic.
Scene. It wasn't really my intention. I mean, I just wanted the three of them to meet and to get together, but it came out that way.
They told you what they wanted to. Ramiro actually seduced you, didn't he? It's that moment when he's just drawing her in and looking, making very full eye contact and making slightly suggestive comments that her boyfriend doesn't pick up, and then he just brushes her arm with his finger, and you know then that they're going to go to bed. You know.
And then
It's been a huge success in Spain, even though this is your first novel. Success, I think they call it by word of mouth, people talking about it. And it was made into a television series, wasn't it?
Yes.
And was that did that cover the whole era from the 20s through the Spanish Civil War and everything? And were you happy with that?
Yeah, everything. Well, it hasn't been on the air yet. It's finished.
Ah, right.
All the filming done, and we hope that either September, October, we will be able to see it on TV. I think it's a wonderful thing what they've done. It will be 11 episodes, long ones, 70 minutes each. They filmed in the original locations. They went to Morocco, they went to Tangiers, to Tetuan, they went to Madrid, to Lisbon, and everything is lovely on the
Sort of the Spanish equivalent of Downton Abbey over here, which you
sort of. It's a bit. It's not exactly that same period of time, but
of course not.
A couple
Later.
of
Bit
decades
later.
later. But it's sort of the same atmosphere.
Do you have Downton Abbey in Spain? Do they sell it
Yeah,
on
we
Spanish
do.
television?
We love it.
Yeah, it's global,
Really,
isn't
it
it?
was a
It's global.
huge
Well, we hope
success.
the Seamstress comes to our television, because
Oh,
I'd love to see it.
I'd love to.
Without giving too much of the plot away, Sarah runs away with Ramiro. He takes her to Morocco. She inherits a huge amount of money from a very distant father. He, of course, takes it and then does a runner and disappears, and she's left penniless. And eventually she makes her way back to Spain as the Civil War unfolds. How sensitive is it, even today, for someone like you to write about the Spanish Civil War? Because it's still a kind of an open wound in Spain, isn't it? It's still a very, very sensitive subject.
It is, but still we talk about the Civil War all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we from all different perspectives, from more historical and more rigorous points of view, but also in fiction, films, sometimes trying to find out something different, sometimes just telling what happened or creating new things with the war as a background.
But there's still a big sense of guilt, isn't there, in Spain about what happened in the Civil War, some of the atrocities.
Yeah, well, still sometimes there is controversy because everything is not closed. Sometimes people think that still we don't have all the things open, all the information, and so there is what we call the law of the historical memory, memoria histórica, open just to recover what happened in full detail. But still we feel comfortable talking about the war. It's not a taboo at all.
You would have been a girl, wouldn't you, when Franco was still the dictator?
Yeah,
in Spain?
I was 11 when he died. So I remember having Franco in our coins and the stamps and seeing him on television. I don't remember much about the real political situation. I was a child, but I remember Franco's being
you were
there.
born into a dictatorship.
Yeah, I was.
So once again, it's called the Seamstress, the Seamstress. How do you say that in Spanish?
La costurera.
La costurera.
La costurera, the one who sews.
The one who says, fantastic. It's a wonderful story. It is just if you enjoy good writing, which I know you do, don't we all? It's a treat. It really is. And as with all the books in the book club, you can get lots of extra value in the back. There's our question and answer session with all the authors, lots more stuff like that. And as of now, we've got a book club app. You just download it to your smartphone. When you go into the shop, you switch the app on, point it at the book that we're recommending and that you fancy buying, and we'll pop up on the screen straight away and give you a verbal review of what we think is a wonderful book. So enjoy. I'm going to say it the Southern way, the Seamstress.